This morning, you got into a car, closed the door, pressed a pedal, and moved faster than almost any human being in history could have imagined. You may have travelled 20 miles without using your legs. Maybe traffic annoyed you. Maybe waiting 5 extra minutes felt like a problem. Now imagine making the same journey in the distant past. No engine, no road, no bridge, no map, only unknown land, dangerous animals, changing weather, and whatever you could carry on your back. A trip that takes less than an hour today might once have required 2 full days of walking. Every mile came with risk, injury, hunger, thirst, or getting lost before nightfall. For an extraordinarily long period of human history, transportation meant one thing: walking. Today you can cross an ocean in hours. But throughout most of recorded and ancient human history, nearly every journey happened at walking speed. That limit shaped where people lived, what they hunted, who they met, and how much of the world they could ever know. So to understand transportation, we have to begin with the first vehicle humans possessed. The human body. Humans are not fast. A cheetah can reach around 70 miles per hour. A horse can easily outrun us. But speed was never our advantage. Endurance was. A person can walk 15 or 20 miles, recover, and repeat the journey the next day. Then again, and again. Our feet absorb force like springs. The Achilles tendon stores and releases energy with every step. Our hips stabilize the body, and a ligament behind the neck helps keep the head steady. Millions of sweat glands also cool us, while many large mammals must stop to avoid overheating. We were not built to move fastest. We were built to keep moving. One of the clearest signs of ancient upright walking was discovered in Laetoli, Tanzania. In 1978, paleoanthropologist Mary Leakey and her team uncovered footprints preserved in volcanic ash. According to current archaeological dating, the prints may be around 3.6 million years old. The footprints show that upright walking existed in the distant past. Heel first, weight moving forward, toes pushing away. Long before cities, farming, writing, or metal tools, beings capable of upright walking were already crossing the landscape on 2 feet. And eventually, human communities travelled across almost the entire planet. Beginning in the distant past, small groups moved from one region to another, gradually spreading through the Middle East, Asia, Europe, and eventually the Americas. No single person completed that journey. It happened generation after generation. One group moved farther, their children explored beyond them, their descendants continued. And they were not simply wandering. Archaeologists have found obsidian tools hundreds of miles from the volcanic sources where the stone originated. Seashells have appeared far inland. Amber and pigments travelled across mountains and plains. People were exchanging objects, information, and probably stories across enormous distances. This was trade, communication, connection, a network built entirely on foot. But walking had one obvious weakness: water. You can climb a mountain. You can cross a desert with enough preparation, but a deep river or open sea can stop you completely. Then humans discovered that water could be crossed. On the island of Flores in Indonesia, archaeologists found extremely ancient stone tools. Flores was never fully connected to the mainland. Even when sea levels were lower, open water remained between the island and the nearest land. Someone had to cross it. We do not know what they used: a log, a bundle of reeds, a simple bamboo raft. Wood rots, rope disappears. The vessel is gone, but the tools remain. Someone made the crossing. According to archaeological estimates, humans had reached Australia tens of thousands of years ago. That journey required several sea crossings, including stretches where the destination may not have been visible. Someone had to build something that floated, gather supplies, climb aboard, and move toward an empty horizon. The oldest surviving canoe ever discovered, the Pessie canoe from the Netherlands, is estimated to be about 10,000 years old. But people were probably reaching islands long before that canoe was made. The boats disappeared. The journeys did not. Much later, Polynesian navigators transformed ocean travel into a science. Beginning roughly 3,000 years ago, they crossed the Pacific in large canoes carrying food, tools, plants, animals, and entire families. No GPS, no satellite images, no printed maps. Instead, they followed stars, studied ocean swells, watched birds, clouds, reflections, and changes in the sea. Using knowledge passed down through generations, they reached Hawaii, Rapa Nui, New Zealand, and countless other islands. Some voyages covered thousands of miles of open ocean. Walking opened the continents. Boats opened the oceans, but another problem remained: weight. A person can walk a long distance, but only while carrying a limited load. Imagine hunters killing a large animal several miles from camp. The meat can feed everyone, but only if they bring it back. For most of human history, the limit of transportation was not only distance. It was how much a body could move. The first solution was simple: drag it. People placed meat, wood, stone, or supplies on hides, branches, or wooden frames and pulled them across the ground. Later came the travois, two long poles connected in a V shape with a platform stretched between them. The narrow end was pulled, the wider end carried the load. One person could suddenly move far more than they could carry. But the greatest breakthrough in moving weight was not something humans built. It was something they partnered with: animals. Dogs were among the first animals domesticated by humans. They guarded camps, helped hunters, and in cold regions, pulled loads. A team could transport food, tools, shelters, and the belongings of an entire family across snow and ice. For Arctic communities, dogs became living engines. But humans eventually partnered with something larger: the horse. Thousands of years ago, people on the Eurasian steppe began managing, milking, and riding horses. At sites linked to the Batai culture in modern Kazakhstan, archaeologists found traces of horse milk in pottery and wear on teeth that may be connected to bits. These people were no longer treating horses only as prey. They were building their lives around them. For most of previous human history, normal travel happened at 3 or 4 miles per hour. Then came the horse. Suddenly, a person could cover in days what once took weeks. Messages moved faster. Trade routes stretched farther. Herding communities crossed huge territories, and warfare changed completely. Mounted fighters could arrive before people traveling on foot had time to prepare. The human world became smaller. Then came the invention most people associate with transportation: the wheel. Surprisingly, it appeared very late. Humans had already crossed oceans, settled islands, built trade networks, and domesticated animals before wheeled vehicles existed. One of the oldest surviving wooden wheels was found in the Ljubljana marshes in Slovenia. Archaeologists estimate that it is a little over 5,000 years old. Early wheels may first have been used for pottery, a spinning platform that helped shape clay. Then someone applied the same idea to movement. Instead of dragging a load, why not make it roll? The first wheeled vehicles were not perfect. Their wheels were solid wood, heavy and unreliable on rocks, mud, or steep ground. A horse without a cart could sometimes move faster than a horse pulling one. The wheel became truly powerful only when several technologies came together: better wheels, strong axles, draft animals, roads. Spoked wheels made vehicles lighter. Horses and oxen supplied power. Roads created reliable routes. Now people could move grain, stone, weapons, tools, and supplies across long distances. Trade expanded, cities grew, armies travelled farther, empires became easier to control. Transportation had become a system, and every improvement changed more than travel. It changed the size of communities, the speed of communication, and the distance over which people could cooperate. A new transport method did not simply move bodies. It moved food, ideas, languages, technologies, and power. Each breakthrough reshaped the human world. And that is the full story. For most of human existence, we had nothing but our legs. With those legs, we crossed continents. When water blocked us, we built boats. When weight became too heavy, we dragged loads, built frames, and partnered with animals. Then we added horses, wheels, and roads, and the world became smaller again. Today, you can sit inside a machine traveling 70 miles per hour and call it a normal commute. You can cross an ocean in 6 hours and complain that the flight feels too long. A device in your pocket can locate you, calculate the fastest route, and summon a car within minutes. We solved the problem of distance so completely that we barely remember it was ever a problem. But every road, bridge, port, railway, airport, ship, and airplane belongs to the same ancient story. It began with feet pressing into soft ground. It continued when someone trusted a floating log, when sailors followed stars, when dogs leaned into harnesses, when riders climbed onto horses, and when someone placed a wheel beneath a load. Long ago, someone stood at the edge of familiar land and looked toward the horizon. They did not know what was waiting there. They moved anyway, and every journey we make today began with that first step.